certain argument going around, espoused by people like Tucker Carlson and Vivek Ramaswamy, the presidential candidate for Republican Party, that Ukraine, being the very corrupt country that it is, the aid that we're sending to them may not reach its destination and may not be helpful at all. So should even United States continue to help Ukraine considering this?
I think that's a very slippery slope because there's a lot of different opinions in the United States right now regarding where money should be going. And I think it's a valid argument that we should be looking to protect ourselves. No disrespect to the Ukrainian people or the Russian people for that matter. And we have so many underfunded programs. Like we have a government that needs to vote to keep our funding going to run our country.
Right.
So it's difficult to be in a position where you feel 100% committed to giving money internationally as aid packages when you don't really know where that money's coming from to begin with. And look at it from a humanitarian and a financial. If you can combine those two, then sure. If people are suffering, innocent people, there's no reason why the United States shouldn't stand up to help people who need our help. As long as that has some kind of check and balance to make sure that money's not misappropriated or misused or, like you said, never gets to the people that it needs to get to, that oversight is something none of us here in America who are not doing business or working with Ukraine, we have no idea where that money's going.
But the report's finding no evidence that any U.S. military aid to Ukraine has been misused or stolen.
At this time, there remains no credible evidence of illicit diversion of U.S.-provided advanced conventional weapons from Ukraine.
Do you consider that the United States should keep helping Ukraine, considering all the circumstances?
A yes or no answer, yes. But I do think that we need better oversight for this. Just like any of the aid relief that we're giving to any of these countries abroad, I think we've mismanaged trillions of dollars just in the last two administrations. That if we had better oversight and our country ran better and there wasn't so much bureaucratic red tape behind programs like this, I think that money would eventually get to the people that it really should be getting to.
Can I ask you, do you think this war in Ukraine, between Ukraine and Russia, is it only concerning Ukraine and Russia, or is it more global? Maybe it's concerning all of the countries, primarily United States.
It does concern the world. It's not just a regional conflict, because the outcome of it means so much to other nations' interests, the United States included. One of the reasons we're supporting Ukraine is because we know that access and denying that access to Russia, to the ports in the Ukraine, etc., it all has ramifications. Do Americans have staked interest in that? Most of us not directly so. But we all understand that the outcome of whatever happens in those nations has a great deal to do with freedom, democracy, communism, what side of the fence you're on. You have to have an open mind and look at that objectively. But I don't have any family there. I don't have any business interest in it. But I am a human being, and I care about people who don't needlessly need to be impacted by war. I have plenty of friends who are Ukrainian, plenty of friends who are Russian, and talking to them all, they all feel, I can see that they all are genuinely hurt by it. They don't have any kind of anger toward each other, really. They're really just hurt with what they've done to one another. That's what's important. We need to focus on that.
So when you say what they've done to one another, Ukraine did not attack Russia, right?
Well, okay, so if you go back prior to this conflict, the area has been at unrest for quite a while, right? This is the culmination of all of that, of course. They did not attack Russia initially. But what they have done, like the guerrilla campaigns back and forth, Russian citizens were caught in the middle of some of those attacks when the Ukraine struck back.
Did Ukraine ever attack Russia?
Not in an offense. No, not offensively. They did not go after the Russian people. They defended them.
They did not go into Russia at all.
Well, they've been in Russia now.
With the full-scale invasion, yeah, they've attacked some targets in Russia, yes.
That I've seen plenty of evidence.
And that's enough justification to say that what they're doing to each other.
Let's say you have Russian citizens who are not connected to the military, right? They feel terrible that their nation has done what they've done to the Ukrainian people. And then when I've spoken to a couple of friends that I have from the Ukraine, and they, of course, they are backing their country and the fight against the Russian military, but they feel bad about the Russian people that have been hurt as innocent civilians in this.
My initial question was, you said they're doing it to each other, but only Russia attacked Ukraine. Ukraine did not attack Russia, even with those things that are happening, right? It's like if you're saying this woman got attacked and raped, but she, in the process, she scratched his face. What they've done to each other, this is horrible, you know.
When I say what they've done to one another, I refer to the guilt that's associated with war by the people who aren't fighting the war. And Americans feel that way too. We've done plenty around the world, and we're still doing it, where innocent people are impacted by what we do. You know, if we're involved in the Gulf War, plenty of innocent people died in that conflict, sadly. We have
Gulf War, that's with Iraq, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And we have troops there now. We have troops in Syria now. We still have a presence in Kuwait. We are actively engaging and striking back because of the missile attacks on our bases in Iran.
Iran
is doing a lot of that.
So Russia cannot stop, like my opinion, because too much is invested in prestige, and their power around the world has been questioned all this time. If they stop by any means, it's going to be catastrophic for Russia. If Ukraine stops, it's a genocide of Ukraine and destruction of Ukrainian state. Do you think that World War III has already started?
Oof. It was said by many philosophers that the Third World War, the last World War, would start in a place away from the superpowers. And if you look at it that way, potentially we could see this now. Between what's happening in Israel, what's happening in Ukraine, what's happening in Yemen, if that holds true, then yes, I think we may have begun the Third World War.
America is unique in the way it perceives the world, but the mistake that Americans are making, they think that all the world is kind of like that. You know, that there are people, everyone is compassionate, that nobody wants to see genocide, that nobody enjoys killing and sending videos to their friends. Look, I raped this person. You know, you know, it's hard for you to imagine. So you have to create your own, justifications for everything. But it may not be exactly how you think it is. With all utmost respect.
Yes, and respect given too. Thank you.
Well, thank you. What's the dog's name?
The dog that's Chloe.
Chloe, do you have something to say?
She always seems to have something to say.
You guys are boring me with your politics. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. My hand is sweaty from holding this.
And you must be cramped up.